Welcome to my channel. Today is best top 2 coins. Please don't skip this video. So let's get started. The 1982 Elizabeth II 50 pence coin from the United Kingdom is a fascinating piece of decimal coinage history, representing both the transitional era of British currency and the lasting legacy of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. The 50p coin had only been introduced just over a decade earlier, in 1969, to replace the old 10-shilling note, and by 1982 it had already cemented its place as one of the most distinctive and practical coins in circulation. The 1982 issue is particularly interesting because of its design composition and the historical context in which it was produced, making it a cherished coin for both casual finders and serious numismatists. On the obverse side, the coin features the second definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold McInOB, which had been introduced in 1968 and remained in use until 1984. In this portrait, the Queen is shown wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a piece of jewelry that had originally been a wedding gift to Queen Mary in 1893 and was later passed down to Elizabeth II. The design is youthful and elegant, symbolizing the Queen's ongoing role as head of state during a time of great modernization in Britain. Surrounding the portrait is the Latin legend Elizabeth II DG Reg, FD 1982-inch, which stands for Elizabeth II, Dei Gratia Regina, Fidei Defensor, translated as Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This inscription not only asserts her authority, but also reflects Britain's constitutional and religious traditions. The reverse side of the coin carries one of the most enduring decimal coinage designs, created by the renowned sculptor Christopher Ironside. It depicts Britannia, the female personification of Britain, seated beside a lion, holding a trident in one hand and an olive branch in the other. Behind her, a shield bearing the Union Jack rests at her side. Symbolizing both defense and unity, the imagery of Britannia has been used on British coinage for centuries, harkening back to Roman times, and reappearing prominently on coins since the reign of Charles II. The presence of Britannia on the 50p symbolized strength, stability, and maritime power, qualities deeply tied to Britain's national identity. Beneath the seat of Britannia is the denomination 50 pence. In terms of physical specifications, the 1982 50 pence coin was part of the original, larger-sized 50p coins that circulated between 1969 and 1997, before the coin was reduced in size to make it more practical. The 1982 coin weighs 13.5 grams, has a diameter of 30 millimeters, and is struck in cupronickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel. The shape is an equilateral curved heptagon, with 7 sides and 7 curved edges, making it instantly recognizable while still allowing to function in vending machines. Its distinctive geometry ensured both usability and security, while also giving the coin a unique identity compared to other decimal denominations. From a historical perspective, the 1982 issue came at a period of significant change in Britain economically. The nation was still dealing with the aftereffects of the 1970s energy crises and early 1980s recession, but at the same time, it was witnessing major political shifts under Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. The Falklands War had also taken place in 1982, becoming a pivotal moment in modern British history. Coins minted during this time, while not directly commemorative of these events, nonetheless serve as everyday artifacts, an era when Britain was redefining its role on the global stage. In terms of mintage, millions of 50p coins were struck in 1982 for circulation, making them common at the time. However, their status changed in 1997 when the Royal Mint introduced the smaller, lighter 50p coin and withdrew the larger version from general circulation. Because of this, all large 50p coins, including the 1982 Britannia issue, ceased to be legal tender after 1998. Today, the 1982 50p is considered a demonetized coin, but holds great interest to collectors as part of the early decimal series. When discussing collector value, the 1982 50 pence is not considered rare in circulated condition, as large numbers were minted. In well-worn condition, its value is usually close to its metal worth or nominal collectible price. However, uncirculated or proof versions, especially those sold in Royal Mint presentation sets, are more desirable. Brilliant uncirculated examples can fetch between £2 and £5, while proof coins may reach higher prices, depending on condition and packaging. Its true value lies in completing a collection of pre-1997 large 50p coins, especially as the Britannia design was eventually replaced by the Royal Shield in 2008. From a cultural and symbolic standpoint, the 1982 Elizabeth II 50 pence coin represents continuity and tradition. Britannia had appeared on coinage since Roman times, and its enduring presence on the 50p reinforced Britain's historic and maritime identity. At the same time, the Mackin portrait of the Queen is one of the most iconic and recognizable of her reign, showing her in her prime years, projecting dignity, grace, and stability. This made the coin not only a tool of commerce, but also a symbol of national pride. In conclusion, the 1982 50 pence Elizabeth II coin stands out as a historically and culturally significant piece of decimal British coinage. With its Arnold Mackin obverse Christopher Ironside reverse, large size, and distinct heptagonal shape, it is a tangible reminder of the early decades of decimalization in the UK. While not particularly rare or expensive in circulated condition, it remains highly collectible for those interested in British numismatics, both for its artistry and for its role in everyday life during the early 1980s. Its eventual withdrawal and demonetization have only added to its nostalgic value, ensuring it endures as a cherished coin among collectors of British decimal currency. Next, the 1978 Elizabeth II New Pence 50 coin is a fascinating part of the United Kingdom's decimal coinage history, belonging to the first generation of decimal issues that were introduced in 1969, before the United Kingdom fully transitioned to decimal currency in 1971. The 50 New Pence coin of 1978 is one of the large seven-sided coins that circulated widely throughout Britain in the 1970s and 1980s, becoming instantly recognizable to the public due to its unique size, weight, and design. Although it was a common circulation coin at the time, it holds enduring significance because of its artistry, its connection to Queen Elizabeth II's reign, and its status as part of the New Pence era, which was phased out in later years on the obverse side. The coin bears a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Mackin OB, a sculptor whose image of the Queen graced British coinage from 1968 until 1984. This portrait is notable for showing the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, one of her most iconic pieces of jewelry, gifted to her grandmother, Queen Mary, in 1893 and later passed down to Elizabeth. The portrait conveys a youthful and elegant monarch, reinforcing her role as a modern yet traditional sovereign. Around the portrait is the Latin legend Elizabeth II DG Reg, FD 1978, which expands to Elizabeth II de Grazia Regina, Fidei Defensor, translated as Elizabeth II by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. This inscription affirms both her divine right as monarch and her role as the supreme governor of the Church of England. The reverse side features one of the most enduring designs in British numismatic history. Britannia is seated beside a lion, holding a trident in one hand and an olive branch in the other, with a Union Jack shield resting at her side. This design was created by the artist Christopher Ironside, who was responsible for several decimal coin reverses introduced in 1971. Britannia has been used on British coinage since the reign of Charles II in the 17th century and remains a potent symbol of strength, naval dominance, peace, and national identity. Below Britannia is the inscription New Pence, followed by the denomination 50, prominently displayed beneath. This inscription is particularly significant because, in 1982, the wording on 50p coins was officially changed from New Pence to simply 50 pence, reflecting the fact that the public had fully adapted to decimalization. Thus, the 1978 issue represents the earlier phase of Britain's decimal coinage in terms of physical specifications. The 1978 50 New Pence coin belongs to the large-size 50p series, which was issued from 1969 to 1997, before being reduced in size to a smaller, lighter version. The coin weighs 13.5 grams, has a diameter of 30 millimeters, and is struck in cupronickel, 75% copper, 25% nickel. Its distinctive shape is a curved equilateral heptagon with 7 equal sides and rounded edges, giving it both practical usability in vending machines and a unique geometric identity that set apart from other decimal coins. The edge of the coin is plain, in keeping with most decimal issues of the period. From a historical perspective, the 1978 issue came during a turbulent but defining era in British life. The United Kingdom was still adjusting to the economic difficulties of the 1970s, including inflation and industrial unrest, while also continuing to embrace the modern decimal system introduced just a few years earlier. Decimalization was one of the most dramatic monetary changes in British history, replacing centuries of pound shillings and pence with a simplified base 10 system. The presence of the phrase new pence on coins like the 1978 50 pence served as a transitional label, reminding the public that this was a new and modernized system. By the early 1980s, however, decimalization was well established, leading to the eventual removal of the word new. As for mintage figures, the Royal Mint struck tens of millions of 50 new pence coins in 1978 to meet circulation demands, making this issue widely available at the time. While exact mintage numbers can vary slightly across sources, the coin was never considered rare, and it was a workhorse of British commerce. It remained in circulation until 1997, when the smaller, lighter 50 pence coin was introduced and the larger coins were demonetized in 1998. In terms of collector value, the 1978 50 new pence coin is generally common in circulated condition, often selling for little more than its face value as a collectible token of history. However, uncirculated or proof examples, particularly those in official Royal Mint sets, hold more appeal. In brilliant uncirculated condition, the coin might fetch £2, £5, while high-grade proof versions can command higher prices, especially among collectors building full runs of new pence coins. Its value lies less in rarity and more in its nostalgic and historical importance. The cultural symbolism of the 1978 50 new pence coin is rich. The continued use of Britannia reinforced a sense of national identity and tradition, linking modern decimal coinage with centuries of British symbolism. At the same time, the Mackin portrait of Elizabeth II projected a modern, confident monarch presiding over a nation undergoing significant change. The new pence inscription marks a unique transitional period in British monetary history, giving the coin added significance for collectors who appreciate the evolution of coinage. In summary, the 1978 Elizabeth II new pence 50 coin is a historically important and visually iconic piece of British numismatics. With its Arnold Mackin obverse, Christopher Ironside Britannia reverse, large size, and new pence inscription, it stands as a reminder of the early years of decimalization and the modernization of Britain's coinage. While not particularly rare or valuable in circulation, it remains a cornerstone of any collection of British decimal coins and a nostalgic artifact of 1970s Britain. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.